All right, welcome to episode 12 of the Before the Buzzer podcast. Little less pep in my step today. Could be because, just got back from moving out. Could be because the Lakers season's over. So, let's check in with our other resident Lakers fan, Cheyenne here. How are we feeling after the Lakers season comes to an end last night?
You know, just a little heartbroken to lose that way again.
Again.
You know, could be a bit better, but you know what? It is what it is, bro. It is what it is.
And then, yeah, for me as a non-Lakers fan, it was satisfying because everything I've kind of been saying the whole series kind of came to fruition. Where when it matters, the Nuggets just turn to another level and they get the shots they want and they win these games. So it was kind of satisfying for me. Um, and yeah, a lot of questions for the Lakers' future, which I guess we'll get into today. So yeah,
All right.
let's,
Well,
let's
we'll
get
get in.
started.
We'll get into the future, but let's just start with the present in this series. The Nuggets obviously come away victorious, 4-1, defeating the Lakers in 5 games. Interesting stat: the Lakers were leading every halftime of this series, even on the road in Denver. They were leading. Obviously, the game that comes to mind that they were up 20 points in Game 2 is the one that felt like got away. Cheyenne, what do you make of the Lakers' inability to hold on to these leads? Because if you're in the playoffs, you can't give away double-digit leads, not only once, but multiple times.
No, I just think it comes down to poor coaching, not noticing when the other team is on a run and deciding to call a timeout, regroup. And I also have problems with some of these lineups that we roll out because up until like the first 3 games, only Torian Prince was the one who scored on the bench for like the first couple games, which is kind of crazy. And even then, I swear, like every game, Darvin Ham just loves these 3 guard lineups, whether it's like D'Lo, Vincent Dinwiddie, or like Dinwiddie, Reeves, and like it's just getting annoying at this point. Like we keep like first couple games especially, we kept getting like out rebounded, especially and we couldn't keep them off the offensive glass, and that just created more chances for them. And that's why our leads kept shrinking
If
at the end of
you
the day.
if you watched the game last night, the killer, in my opinion, wasn't that Jamal Murray, last second shot. I knew he was gonna hit that. The killer was around the 1 minute mark in the fourth quarter. Nuggets miss a shot. Aaron Gordon grabs the
Yeah.
rebound, one dribble, kicks to Jamal Murray for three. They hit it and take the lead. That was, in my opinion, the killer in the game, and it's pretty symbolic of what happened all this series. Lakers unable to do anything on the glass. The Nuggets dominated them all series long, whether it was just grabbing defensive rebounds or creating second chance opportunities. The Lakers couldn't fight on the glass. Anthony Davis, obviously, really the only one that, you know, had any ability to grab rebounds, and that's partially because Rui Hachimura was pretty non-existent for the Lakers. It was disappointing to see a player that they paid over the offseason do so little. Obviously, they would have liked to have Vanderbilt back, but the truth is he was never, really going to come back. I think the indicator was he played 0 minutes last night. They let him rest all that time, and then he didn't play any minutes last game 5, ends up playing 0 minutes in the series. And Rui Hachimura couldn't grab a rebound, couldn't play defense, couldn't score. So at the end of the day, if you can't grab rebounds and you're not hitting shots and you're not, playing defense as, not just Rui, but the Lakers as a whole, you're not going to be able to win a series, even if you're up, double digits at one point. Eventually, these things are going to come back to bite you. And I'll say this: I don't think Denver actually played a great series. Alex, I'll let you talk about that a little bit more. And we'll get into their matchup against Minnesota, but just focusing on this series, I don't think Denver did anything particularly great this series. They, as Alex likes to mention, they're a consistent team. They'll show up at the end, but I truly feel like the Lakers gave away not only game 2, but if you're up at halftime every single game of the series, you're up double digits like 3 games. the Lakers should have been tied 2-2 going into last night. And even if you say they should have lost that game, well, then they would have had a game 6 at the Crypt on Thursday. So I think that the Lakers really gave away this series. The defense was not there, but the defense always hasn't been there. More disappointing to see them get, hammered on the glass because rebounding feels like an effort thing. And a lot of times, even if it was, star players, Anthony Davis and LeBron, sometimes the effort wasn't there. And then especially with the role players, I don't want to call out specific players, but at times it feels like Rui, you got to grab a rebound. Or Rui, I believe it was game 2 where Aaron Gordon hustles and grabs a rebound, throws it out to a Michael Porter Jr., and Rui's just standing there, not playing any defense on Porter. Porter hits the 3, tie game to complete the comeback. So I rambled on a little bit there, but I really feel like the Lakers kind of gave away this series. Also forgot to mention Lakers winning like 76% of the minutes this series. But I'll let Alex get into kind of the clutch time performances of some of these Nuggets guys here.
Yeah, so first of all, just going on about Rui. Rui had only 4 rebounds a game in this series. He's like 6'10", so that's kind of insane. He's playing like 30 minutes a game too. So yeah, that's a part of it. But the end last night, as you mentioned, with Eric Gordon in the rebound, kick out to MPJ. I mean, that was LeBron, right? That was a LeBron box out. He didn't box him out. Aaron Gordon got the rebound, right? That's the kind of thing where I like LeBron, but I think at this stage of his career, he struggles with he just doesn't do everything he needs to a lot of time, especially on defense, right? And with LeBron, like usually you're like, oh, he can do it on when he needs to, but he didn't do it yesterday, and he kind of consistently gets beat on the board sometimes, or just on these effort plays, right? But yeah, going back to the Denver anyway. Denver, yeah, I agree. I don't think they played a great series. I think Denver, like, there's a lot more. The ceiling hasn't been tapped yet at all. I think Denver the thing with Denver is they're, again, a very consistent team where they just give you the same thing over and over again. They don't change who they are depending on the game, right? A lot of teams, if they're down by like 15, 20 points, they start chucking threes, they start going away from their offensive identity. But they just keep playing the same way because they trust themselves and they trust themselves to go back against the Lakers. And I think they own the Lakers, I think, psychologically at this point too. I think that there's a psychological effect, especially after game 2, where it was like, there's no fucking way the Lakers were going to win this series just because you can't come back from that. They had this ownership state over the Lakers, right? And I think that's, even from like a fan perspective, I think you guys kind of felt that way a bit too, where it's like, we just cannot beat these guys. Usually it's like mental block, and I don't see a world where the Lakers are competing next year or able to make improvements, because when you have 2 guys on a max contract on like $50 million a year in LeBron and AD, like you're having to live with inconsistencies around them, right? And I think at this stage of their career, LeBron and AD aren't consistent enough themselves to be at that level, right? If you look at the Nuggets team, they have so many homegrown guys, so many young guys, so many rookies, second-year players that are able to contribute. Peyton Watson, Christian Braun, and PJ, right? That's when he got in the draft. Kind of bought low on him, considering how good a prospect he was, right? And that means you're able to get affordable guys, and you're able to build a solid team around them. And obviously they're not perfect, but they're better than the Lakers depth-wise, right? And then with Darvin Ham, yeah, he's getting fired. Obviously, that's not even a question. Yeah, big day for Shayan, bro. But yeah, if you look at the Lakers' rotation, like Dinwiddie should not be getting many minutes in this series. Vincent shouldn't be getting any minutes in this series. Vanderbilt wouldn't have done anything if he was on the court because he's such an offensive liability. In the Jackson Hayes minutes, they got killed. There was just the psychological thing where Jokic just killed them in those minutes, and you had to have AD out there even after he got his shoulder hurt. The depth just isn't there for the Lakers. And then, especially when you have guys like D'Lo struggling or Austin Reeves struggling here and there, like it's just not sustainable, So, yeah, it was never gonna happen for me. I'd never had any kind of trust in the Lakers in this series, but at least they won the Shine game. That's what matters, right?
Yeah, they did. Shayan, you want to tell the audience about that one?
All right, so I was lucky enough to attend game 4. I'm not gonna lie, going into it, I was kind of scared because I did know they were down 3-0. So that would have gave me insane demons if I actually had to watch them get swept in person. Like it would have gave me insane deep, but it was such a good game. The arena was packed, was so hype. The guys next to us were so funny too, bro. and and yeah, it was just a really fun one. By far, like the best game I went to. And if y'all don't know this by now, but every Lakers game I've attended in person, they've won every game. Doesn't matter if it's at the crypt, on the road. Doesn't matter, bro. Lakers are undefeated, bro. I almost got a ticket to Denver, bro. To fucking, I should have.
Yeah, you should
But
have.
hey, but if you guys want me to go to more of the games to see the Lakers win, I'll put my GoFundMe down below
You get a
in the
cash app.
description.
Like GoFundMe.
I got a Venmo.
All right, well, let's get into the Lakers' future then. I think, by the way, if you look at last year compared to this year, last year it felt like they kind of ran out of gas at the end. But comparing this series to last series, I think you can make an argument pretty clearly that they were even more competitive in this series than last series. I mean, would they lose game 2 by 2? Lost last night by 2.
The Nuggets were +5 in the whole series, I think,
That's
or like +5 per
pretty
game or
crazy.
something like that. Like actually, I think it's just +5 in general because Lakers won
Wow.
game 4
Yeah,
by
because
like
they won game 4
yeah,
by
yeah.
a pretty sizable margin. Yeah, I mean, well, it's interesting because the Lakers came into the series as I believe one of the best, if not the best team in close games this season.
24-9.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of an indicator of going back to what you were saying earlier about that psychological block. I felt like if the Lakers could get over that in game 2, that would set them up pretty well for the rest of the series, in thinking that they actually had the ability to beat the Nuggets. Obviously, they blew that game 2, which just set them back even further. But I really felt like if they beat Denver in that game 2, they could even rip off 3 in a row. But it just didn't happen. It set them back even further. And I don't think that, like last year, the series, total of, last year they got swept and this year they lose 4-1. I don't think that was indicative of how close this series was. I know a lot of people had stuff to say about last year, saying, "Oh, it's a sweep. How can it be close at all?" But I think the numbers indicate, like last year, that this was a lot closer than the series ended up being, and it's disappointing to know that a couple plays here, a couple plays there, and maybe the Lakers are moving on, or at least getting to a game 6 or game 7. But now the focus shifts to LeBron. Obviously, he's kind of the main piece in all this, because I think if LeBron comes back, it's pretty straightforward for the Lakers. At this point, I don't think it's a Lakers moving on from LeBron thing. I think it's a LeBron moving on from the Lakers type of thing. Reports have already come out that they're willing to offer him 3 years. I wouldn't do that. But they're willing to offer him 3 years at kind of a max contract style of deal here. And I don't know if I would do that, but I think if they do that, it's pretty obvious what they do. Bring back AD. And the Lakers have been pretty transparent when they go out and trade for superstars. Made very obvious that they were going to go target Anthony Davis. They went out and targeted Anthony Davis. Made very obvious that they were going to go out and target Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, and that deal happened. And then last minute, I don't know if it was Braun or who changed that, but
It was Braun.
They go out and trade for Russell Westbrook. So overall, the Lakers are pretty obvious in their moves, and they've been pretty transparent that they're going to go after Trae Young. I don't know if that's going to include DeJounte Murray in the deal, but
What?
I'd assume.
Wait, like the same deal for Trae and DeJounte?
There was reports.
Trade.
There was reports that they go after Trae and DeJounte. I think it'll end up just being Trae.
How does it work salary wise? How they do that?
Yeah, I don't.
And DeJounte's
It's like a
20
3-teamer and someone else gets.
No, I
how do
I
the
think,
assets? That's not good. They don't have the assets for that, bro.
no, I'm just saying that the reports were they were thinking about trading for DeJounte as well in the deal. I think it'll end up only being Trae because, like you said, they don't have crazy assets, and there's
no assets.
There's rumors
That's
about the 17 pick being used on Bronny, which would significantly hamper their assets. So, Cheyenne, I want to start with you. Let's start with the Lakers keep LeBron, at least for next year. What do you think that they decide to do? And then maybe give your opinion on what they should do.
Like you, I think they're gonna try to hit a home run, try to swing for like a third star of some sort, whether that's Trey Young or whoever they believe that third star to be. But I just don't think that's the way to go because as we saw here, depth was a serious issue for the Lakers. So I would like them to just get more quality pieces off the bench or in the starting lineup who could contribute more, like especially like defensively. Because throughout the year, throughout the second half of the year, we were like one of the best like 3-point shooting teams in the league. But it's just like that's when the first half we were the best, like one of the best defenses. The second half we were one of the worst defenses. So it kind of shifted. So we could somehow find the best balance of like both worlds. I'd rather much have that than like a third star and just commit to like an all offensive team.
Yeah, that's not going to work in all offensive team. Like, you're not going to win any series with that, right? So, in my opinion, I think you just reset everything. I just don't see a world where you guys can compete. Because the problem with your current, like, what you have right now is you have a team full of kind of one-dimensional guys, right, alongside LeBron and AD. And the problem is that you can't really get these two-way players for cheap, and you don't have any assets. You don't have anything to really offer teams, right? So I just don't see a world where you guys are going to get better, you know? And you guys need to get a lot better because the West can be so much stronger next year. And it already was strong this year. You know, teams like Memphis coming back, which I know you say, oh, we beat them 2 years ago. Now they have they're better and they've aged and all that stuff. You know, you have Spurs, whatever they're going to be, Wembanyama. You have the Rockets.
All right.
No, but seriously, you never know with these things.
Whoa.
Wembanyama
Yeah,
could be
that's
the best
true.
player in the
That's
league
true.
next year.
They could.
Like, you
they
don't
mean,
know, right?
I think
Like,
it'll
they
only
should,
matter if like they get like an overall roster better. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, okay, think about it. They're gonna get a top rookie, right? They're gonna get, improvement for like Vassell, Sohan, right? They could even make a trade to go in and like get some NBA ready players, right? Like, you never know
all
these
right, yeah,
things.
if they
It's the
do
fact
that, if they
yeah,
upgrade the roster,
yeah, that's what
then
I'm
yeah.
saying. And they
But
should because
if it's
Wemby's
just
a
like
special
solely
talent.
off like Wembanyama getting better, but the Spurs they're gonna
No,
go
I mean,
from
he could be
15
like a
wins to
legitimate like top
25.
five. He could be like a top five guy in the league next year. Like, we genuinely don't know how good he could be. He's like unprecedented. But anyway, but yeah, like it's just the league is so much stronger, and I think the Lakers. And if you trade for Trey Young, like 40% of your team's defense is going to be Trey Young and 40-year-old LeBron James. Okay, like you're not winning a series with that. You're not beating any good teams with that. You know, and as you know, I don't like Trey Young. I don't think Trey Young's the answer to any of these problems because you don't need another because he's just a glorified D'Angelo Russell to an extent.
Well, let's.
But he's
I mean,
where he does similar things, but he just needs the ball more. And you don't want to take the ball away from LeBron. Like, let's be real here.
I'm not.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm not worried about the
I'd
offensive
rather
side of
have
it.
Donovan Mitchell, bro,
I think.
than
Well,
Trey Young.
How? See, you guys are fucking idiots. Like, how are you gonna get those players?
No, I'm just
like-
saying out of the rumored people, like between those two, I'm just saying I'd rather have.
How are you gonna get Mitchell? Like,
I don't
you
think
can
we
have
will.
to give
That's
them.
the
But,
thing.
like,
I don't think we
no,
will, but I'm just
okay,
saying.
what are your
I'd rather.
assets? What are Lakers' assets? You have what? D'Lo, AR.
3
Well,
first-round
okay,
picks starting next year.
Hold on.
It's-
One thing to note: the Lakers don't even have D'Angelo Russell. Technically,
He's
he
a
is
player option, right?
He's a player
Yeah.
option. I think that he will opt in because I think that's
Yeah.
probably the highest value. Now, whether he asks for a trade, that remains to be seen.
No, he
but
won't.
I
Mickey
think
Mouse, bro.
He's getting his money.
I think he'll. Well,
Trade
no,
to China.
I could see him opting in and then saying trade me, just to get that extra money and then trying to go to a different team. But I think that the Lakers really don't have much of a choice if LeBron comes back because he's going to demand another superstar, I feel like.
Then don't bring him back. Or just offer him a minimum. Just be like, if you want to actually stay in LA, here's a minimum. Let's build an actual team around you. So you
Well,
can win.
no.
That's my
I
opinion.
mean, he's not. But I'm just saying what's
He's
going
a
to happen.
billionaire. The money doesn't matter to him.
That's not
Like-
going to happen. That's not going to happen, though.
Why shouldn't it? Like, I'm just saying, like, from the Lakers' perspective, if
Because
max money
LeBron's
he's not a
top.
max player.
I
LeBron
don't-
isn't a max player anymore.
I mean, it would be unprecedented if
Carmelo in 2004 took a minimum deal to go to the Lakers.
All right, he was not
still
nearly as
an
good.
all-star. He was still
I
an
mean,
all-star.
come on.
So
There's
LeBron,
no
He was
way-
an all-star.
LeBron,
He was
There's
ring-chasing
no way
guys,
you
ring-chase.
There's no way you just compare LeBron James to Karl Malone at this stage. They're not
They were
even.
both old. Yeah, I
They're
know.
not
He was still
even
he was an all-star. He was an all-star.
LeBron is above an all-star still at this point in his
Is
career.
he? I mean, is he? He's a
Oh,
good
come
all-star.
Yeah,
on.
bro.
Come
He's-
on.
Don't even.
An all-star is
Respectful.
a top 25 guy in the league, right?
LeBron
top
is
15.
way past the top 25.
He's top 15. He's top 15.
Top
Top
15 is
10.
still-
No,
Okay,
we've argued this before.
Alex.
We've argued this before. He's top 15. That's very
Alex,
generous.
you're
for a
telling
40-year-old.
me there's not 15 teams in the league that have a max.
Bro, you're only moving him down just
No
because he's
players,
40.
15 players. I'm just saying he doesn't deserve a max deal at this point in his career. He's old. You can't trust him.
Well, I don't think it would be long term, but for
Yeah,
1
like
year,
for
I
a
mean,
I would give him the.
But like, what team has the money to give him a max?
well,
And
okay,
if he
we'll
worth
get
it.
We'll get into LeBron's
Like,
future here, but
If
but
he's no, but like,
let me just
the thing
finish
is,
with
he
the
might be
Lakers.
worth the max, but like, why would a team give him the max from their perspective? You'd
Well,
rather
here,
give that to like a younger player.
I'll get
Or
into.
just- okay, whatever.
I'll get into it because there's some teams I think that would actually make sense. But here's the interesting thing for LeBron: the Bronny factor comes into effect now because I don't think Bronny's ready for the NBA. I honestly think it'd be a shame if Bronny felt kind of rushed to go to the NBA just because he wants to play with LeBron, and it would be a really awkward situation for LeBron if he doesn't want to be on the Lakers, but Bronny decides he's staying in school, because now you have this 1 year window of, do I stay in LA? I know he's big on family at this point in his career. I don't know if he'd want to move to the East Coast or somewhere else for just a year, or switch teams for just a year and then leave that team to go play with Bronny. So I think LeBron will end up staying. And I think that kind of puts the Lakers front office in a bind of, okay, well, we have to make a move to try and win now. LeBron's going to ask for that third superstar because, as you mentioned, he doesn't want to take on all of the load offensively. And I think it'll be Trey. I'm less concerned about LeBron's defense. I think his defense is still fine. I don't see.
No, come on. But, like,
I don't.
bro.
He's not a negative. He is at least an
He's
average.
40 years
Bro,
old. He's gonna keep
he had like
progressing.
4
He's at
steals
least an
yesterday,
average.
bro.
He's
He is
gonna,
at
yeah, he's average.
At
At
least.
best, he's average. At best,
No,
he's
at
average.
least he's
No,
average.
we saw him. He struggles on the boards. He struggles to stay in front of guys. He
Well,
I mean, he
mentally
struggles
he lets
against
things
Aaron
go.
Lakers
Gordon. I
didn't.
mean, Aaron Gordon's like
okay,
one of the
with
best in the league.
No, okay. Aaron Gordon's just effort and positioning. That's all he is on offense. Like, and
That's what makes him
It's
good.
just him being smart. LeBron, you see so many mental lapses he has every game because he's
No, yeah, I
focused on
see
that
it.
end.
I see it too. The back.
Yes. So how is he
ridiculous
average?
this
He's a
Because-
liability sometimes.
because
And I just think
one-on-one,
he's gonna be 40 years old. He's gonna lose his mobility because he is 40 years old.
Bro,
Okay,
you keep
keep
saying
saying
he
this.
will
This is
lose
not-
this.
this is
It's
not
not
He's gonna
happening, bro.
He's gonna regress. Okay?
Alex is gonna
He's
call
not
this-
a fucking superhero.
Alex is gonna call
Bro's
this
on his
fall-
Max Kellerman cliff theory.
Alex
but
is gonna
he's-
call this fall off until LeBron actually falls off, and it's gonna.
No,
be
but he is. He's regressing. He's
46.
regressed since
He's gonna be
2020.
like 45. Alex will finally get it right.
He's
Bro.
regressed. Bro, listen, he's regressed since 2020. He's regressed
All right,
since
he's
2020.
slightly regressed.
He regressed.
Alex,
he got worse.
Alex, was Alex better?
Slightly.
I mean, was LeBron better or worse than last year this season?
Slightly worse because that's how
No.
aging works.
Oh, now I know. Now I know you didn't.
In the
watch
playoffs,
it.
in the playoffs.
Oh,
Regular
my
season that shit don't matter.
LeBron-
In the playoffs.
LeBron was better this year than last year, and it's not. It's fairly obvious. The 3-point ball. was
Defensively. I think defensively he fell off a bit this year. He was already pretty weak in that end.
I don't think it
This
was
isn't
a crazy fall off.
guys.
But
You
I'm
have this
more.
idea of who LeBron is, but you actually don't watch the games. You don't see how he plays on defense. He's a liability half the time. When he
When
tries,
is-
he's solid.
when
but
has
he doesn't
when has
try.
LeBron?
Bro, he's not a
when has-
liability.
When he's guarding
get
Alex,
played off the
anybody who
floor.
Alex,
moves.
I've had this problem with LeBron for years. There are times where he doesn't try on defense, and I acknowledge that. But I mean, during the stints where he does try, he's still an average to above.
He doesn't try in the playoffs. Like, look at that rebound of Aaron Gordon. That's
Well,
typical
how
LeBron play.
much of that is because he's
He didn't
exhausted?
box out. He didn't box
Well,
out.
How much of that is because he's exhausted from how many minutes he's playing and how much he has to exert
Yeah,
on
exactly.
offense?
You
Because
can't play him these
well,
minutes, so he's not a max
well,
player. You can't play him this
but-
much.
I mean, come on, he was playing like 40-something minutes. That's a lot for
Yes.
anyone.
Yeah,
That's
but
a
they
lot
can
for
still
anyone.
rebound. Yeah, but he's 40 years old. So he
No,
can't handle it
you're
anymore.
being a
God.
little ridiculous. You act like everyone's
No,
like super
but
40 minutes every game and is not tired at all. This
in
is
the
like
playoffs, yes. In the
Only
playoffs,
only
I
No,
Josh
play that
Hart can
much.
play
no.
that type of minutes.
Yeah, only Josh
Hart.
Hart, only Knicks
No,
players can
yeah, look,
play.
I feel like with LeBron, you have to take you guys act like he's a superhero who doesn't age. He's gonna age, okay? He's gonna regress.
You keep saying
and
he's gonna
maybe-
age. He's gonna age.
He
But
has
he's not
aged.
really
He
aging.
already has.
But not to the point that you make it seem like, bro.
No, he's still a great player. It's just I don't think if you have Trey Young and LeBron on the same team guarding people in crunch time, you're getting exposed. You're
That's not
losing
my
the game.
that's not
I
my
just
concern. They're not going
Yeah,
to
now
lose
your
off
problem
LeBron's
is-
defense. They're going to lose off of the fact that their backcourt, if they keep Austin Reeves, is going to be a defensive backcourt of Trey Young and
Yes.
Austin Reeves. That's more
Trey Young and LeBron.
That is LeBron.
AD can't
Take
do
LeBron
that
out
much.
of it. It doesn't matter what they wouldn't go at LeBron. They would go at that backcourt
And
all
then
day.
they'd switch onto LeBron. They'd get like
Oh my gosh! Why do you keep?
Bro.
okay, so LeBron wouldn't play help defense. LeBron wouldn't be in the right position on defense. That's what it would be then.
All
He
right,
wouldn't
all
be in
right.
help.
Well,
He wouldn't be contesting. He'd let guys cut past him because he'd be playing like a freak safety.
Bro,
wouldn't he?
if you're talking
So
about
he'd
his
be
help
letting-
defense, why are you bringing up like them switching on him for playing one-on-one defense,
It's
bro?
something they could do too. It's something they did in the series as well.
Bro.
Like, I mean, we act like he's not a superhuman. He's 40 years old next year. He's gonna keep
He's
regressing. He's gonna
superhuman.
keep getting worse. I just
Kind of is a
you guys,
superhuman.
he's not going to be the same player next year that he is this year. That's just a factual thing. You cannot tell me that 40-year-old LeBron is the same as a 30-year-old
then how is
LeBron
he
or a
better this year?
35-year-old LeBron.
How is he better this year than last
I don't think
year?
he was. He was better skill-wise, but he wasn't better as an actual like athlete or defensively. And defense is just athleticism and effort. That's all it is, right? And I think his athleticism is naturally decreasing because he's getting older, just like everybody else.
All right, but it's not
older.
like substantially
And then
decreasing.
his
bro.
effort
Like,
is.
he still plays like
We
the
don't
same
know,
way,
do we?
kind
That's the
of,
thing.
but
Like, if
slightly.
you compare it to 2020, it has decreased quite a bit. I think.
Oh
it's fair
yeah,
to say.
yeah.
Exactly. That's aging. That's how aging works. He has gotten worse. He's going to
That's
continue
also
to
like
decrease.
a
We notice it
5-year
because we see
gap,
him.
bro.
Yeah, because it's 4-year gap, and we notice it because
4-year.
we've
All
seen
right,
him.
my bad.
No, because when we see him every year, it doesn't seem as apparent. But when you actually take a step back and look at the regression, he has regressed quite a bit. He's able to do the same thing he could in 2020 or in 2018 or in 2016. Like that's how basketball works. You regress. You get hurt. And also, like LeBron's an injury-prone guy. He didn't get hurt this year. Like it's very, 40-year-old, any 40-year-old guy is going to be susceptible to injury. Never mind 40-year-old LeBron, who has had a bunch of injuries in recent years. Same with AD. I don't think this versus the Lakers is substantial, especially with the money that they want to get paid. I don't think that they have any. There's no move they can make to make them a contender. If they do the Trae Young trade, it'll be like Russell Westbrook all over again.
Well, here's the other thing. I think even if LeBron leaves, I think that they still go through with the Trae Young trade.
That's fair, yeah.
Because, I mean, watching basketball from that 20, what was it, Shayan? Like 2012 to like 2017
2017.
was honestly.
It was.
I saw Lakers
Low key,
fans
like since
dedicated,
like
so
2016
dedicated
and
to the
17
team,
were,
it just
were
stopped
fun
watching.
though. That was at
Jordan
least.
Hill.
But like the 2013 to
Yeah.
2015, that was rough. That was rough.
Yeah, I mean that was.
I don't know about
bad,
Jody Meeks.
but I don't think the Lakers go through that again. Jeannie Buss
Robert Sacre.
has said
The
that.
thing is, too, is like that's the way you need to build teams now, where you have to kind of reset. You have to build these homegrown assets, build through the draft. This is the way the CBA works. So that means the Lakers getting like the Trae Young trade. I like that trade. I think if LeBron leaves, because he needs, I think him and AD could be a good duo together, and I think that you would win some games, but I don't think you're winning any series or anything. It's just you're selling tickets, you're keeping fans happy.
But the thing is,
it's a mediocre move.
The Lakers would never. The Lakers would never let them. I feel like they would never let them get to that stage again. And if they were to go through with kind of tanking, I think that, well, not tanking, but getting younger and getting more assets.
Resetting, yeah.
You have to trade Anthony Davis as well.
Yeah.
At that, it's kind of a waste to have him on the team. But we'll get to the Lakers and their future without LeBron if that happens another time. I want to get to LeBron because I actually have a hot take, good hot take segue into the
let's do our segment.
segment. But there's been a lot of talks about where LeBron would go next year. Obviously, I'm not of the belief that he'll leave just because I think it's a 1-year window. But if LeBron is leaving, there are 2 teams I envision him going to. Number 1 is the obvious one. This isn't the hot take. The New York Knicks. Everyone's talked about the Knicks. He'd play in the mecca of basketball. He's always said how he's wanted to, how he loves playing in the Garden. That'd be a great team around him. Maybe some issues with Brunson handling the ball a little bit too much for liking, but I feel like that takes off the pressure for LeBron, and he's got shooters around him.
Got guys who can play defense for him,
and he play in the Eastern Conference, so that's a bonus. Avoids the Nuggets.
Okay. Can I say one thing about that real quick before we move on?
Yeah,
I don't think they go for him. I don't think he fits. Like the Knicks have become like a culture team, and I think they're a very defensive, gritty team. LeBron would be a liability out there compared to the rest of that team. He's a weakness in their coat of armor, right? Like, and I think that.
But you would acknowledge
him.
You would
acknowledge fit for him, but I don't think they'd sign him. I don't think they'd sign him.
You would acknowledge the Knicks are still a superstar away, and LeBron is a significant upgrade from Julius Randle.
Yeah, maybe, but I think it also depends on. No, but I mean, like they might be able to win without him. That's what I'm saying. I think they might be able to somehow get to the finals this year. I mean, Boston, they've looked kind of weak here and there. We don't know yet. I think we have to wait till the end of the season to see where they are. But I think they could go to the finals without him, without LeBron. And I think LeBron, it could be a really risky move to put all your assets in LeBron at this stage of his career. But yeah, go on.
And then here's my hot take team. A lot of has been made about LeBron wanting to stay on the West Coast here.
I know you did.
Sure, you've seen the Twitter, images. No, you don't know what I'm gonna do. Actually, you've seen the Twitter images of LeBron going to the Warriors, but I think there's something even worse that could happen.
Okay.
I think LeBron could actually stay in LA and go to the Clippers. I think
he won't.
No way, he would never do that.
Hold on. Let me just paint the picture for you, right?
Okay, let's hear it.
Clippers lose this series. They move off Kawhi. LeBron now replaces Kawhi for 1 year because I don't think you guys understand. Steve Ballmer is he's a madman. He's insane. He would be a guy that would actually go for taking LeBron for 1 year just so that they enter the new arena with Paul George, James Harden, and LeBron James.
And Russell Westbrook again.
And Russell Westbrook again as their new trio under LeBron's former coach, Tyronn Lue. And LeBron gets to stay home, stay with his family, stay in LA for another year. Doesn't have to commit to anything long-term. Gets to play alongside some decent players. You got Paul George, who they've rumored Paul George and LeBron were supposed to team up earlier.
Paul George is a free agent, remember? And
he might
go
4 years left.
No, but I think the Clippers would bring back Paul George in this scenario. I think
fourth is.
So how are you gonna get rid of Kawhi? Sign and trade him?
Yeah, no, they would
trade.
They would trade. You don't think anyone would trade for Kawhi Leonard?
I don't think
they
the
would.
Maybe you worth it for the Clippers.
Maybe you get a little undervalue on him, but
so why trade him?
You could because
you gotta sign and trade LeBron.
Eventually, if this duo doesn't work again this year, you got to think that they're going to split them up, right? You don't think?
They just gave Kawhi an extension for 4 years.
I know, but I mean, if Kawhi, they gave him the extension, and then he got injured again. I mean,
they're locked in. They haven't really got a choice. They made this.
I think
Paul George is the guy to go just because he's a free agent.
But I don't think a LeBron and Kawhi duo would work as well. I think.
Yeah, but I don't think for the Clippers perspective, they haven't really got a choice. They gave Kawhi money.
Why could you not trade Kawhi? You don't think anyone?
Who would trade for him? Just at this point, who's the team that would trade for him, knowing the injury risk, and knowing how
Toronto
in the playoffs because he's hurt?
But Alex, I mean,
Toronto,
he's a good player, but I don't know if you're getting any value from the Clippers perspective.
Well, no, I'm
going to trade
Kawhi. I'm saying you're not gonna.
I think a team would definitely take a chance on him, though.
Someone would take a chance on him for
a desperate
I don't know,
team.
A team that needs a the Knicks could take Kawhi.
No, they're not though. That's the thing. It doesn't make.
I mean, why not? Julius Randle and some picks for Kawhi Leonard.
Bro. Tibbs would run,
the
bro.
Clippers have Paul George, LeBron, fucking Julius Randle.
No. That would be a 3-team. They would send Julius Randle to another team.
It's only what it is. There's no it has to be instead of Paul George.
You're telling me the Clippers couldn't find any suitors for Kawhi Leonard for anything?
For any value.
Obviously,
I just think teams wouldn't want to trade for him. There's too much of a risk.
Someone would trade anything for him.
What's he worth? Okay, what do you think Kawhi's worth?
I mean, at least like maybe like 1 or 2 first-round picks and a solid young
He's
player.
Kawhi Leonard though, but like the upside of Kawhi, like Clippers aren't gonna take that shit. I mean, like Balmer wants they have a new arena opening, right? They want the super.
Yeah, and you could bring in LeBron James to open the new arena.
Yes, but you could get
I'm not even
Kawhi
joking.
and LeBron.
This would be the closest. This would be the closest the Clippers took to taking over L. Even, I mean, I guess you could say that Lob City period that they were kind of close, but it still felt like
when
the
Lakers are trash. Yeah.
If LeBron went to the Clippers, that would be the closest in the new arena.
Kobe nearly went to the Clippers too.
What?
Kobe nearly went to the Clippers. Remember?
Yeah, but I'm saying it didn't happen. They were close.
Yeah,
it didn't
exactly.
happen. This would be the closest the Clippers came to taking over LA, at least for this year. I think Ballmer would take the risk, and I think he's crazy enough to also draft Bronny the next year. I think Ballmer's the guy that wants to win, and he's willing to make changes if he needs to. He already brought in James Harden this season. I think kind of like Matt Ishbia of the Suns. We can maybe touch on that later or another time. I think he's the type of guy that says, we want to be the attraction in LA. I already spent all this money to buy a new stadium. Tired of Kawhi and PG not getting it done. We need to make some changes. And LeBron, we can keep you home here, keep you next to your family. And you can't tell me that Clippers team wouldn't be ready to contend with LeBron. They already are playing better without Kawhi on the floor.
Yeah.
It would be a weird team. It would be a very weird team. I mean you have what?
LeBron, PG,
James Harden, Paul George. Who would the wing be? Then LeBron and who would the wing be?
Amir Coffey.
Terrence Mann
could play that.
Okay, I mean, I feel like it's a very Lakers 2021 or 2022. Sorry, it just seems like you're putting a lot of old stars together, and you're just saying, make it work.
I mean,
you know.
But I mean, there's different fits though. You don't think that? I mean, that we all knew that Lakers.
I don't think that fits though.
I think the Clippers.
They have James Harden and Westbrook, and then a third like LeBron, bro.
You're making too much of Westbrook. Westbrook is coming off the bench here for like 15
He came
years.
off the bench for the Lakers too.
Yeah, but no, I mean, but he was being paid like that. On the Clippers, he's not being paid like that. So I'm saying you have the defense around LeBron minus Harden. You have the shooters around LeBron, and you have the depth behind him. Isn't that the whole problem that you had with the Lakers? No defense, no shooting, and the coaching's bad.
I don't think James Harden and LeBron could play.
Can they give him a max? I don't think they have a max to give. How would they even get him unless it's a minimum?
What do you mean? They would trade.
Like, how do they sign him?
But you can't sign him to as much when you're a free agent.
Yeah, but if they trade Kawhi, they're still over the cap. I'm pretty sure. If they bring back PG,
PG, Harden, and
Harden's on a max. PG's on a max.
I mean, PG, Harden,
which makes sense. Like,
they would sign PG. They have to sign PG back too, so his contract still remains to be seen.
Well, it's going to be a max, isn't it? It's going to be a big contract.
Well, hold on. If you told PG he could get LeBron to play next, I think
he'd rather get his money and do both. He'd rather play next to LeBron and get a max because he's a max level player. I mean, in the NBA, I think he is. I
think these GMs are smart enough to figure it out. If they could get LeBron, they would figure out a way to bring in LeBron and keep PG and James Harden. And like I said, they have the depth behind them. I think that obviously I wouldn't want it to happen as a Laker. That would be really disappointing to see LeBron go to the Clippers, but I think that it's something
that is a hot take.
And yeah, like I said, it's a hot take segment. There's your hot take. LeBron, if he leaves the Lakers, which I don't think he'll do, and wants to stay on the West Coast, I think he's going to the Clippers. Cheyenne, any thoughts and any predictions to where you think LeBron is going if he leaves?
Definitely not the Clippers. I feel like there's like no chance he goes to the Clippers. I feel like even if he did, that would be a bad fit. Too many ball dominant players. We never really see James Harden have to play off the ball. We know LeBron.
Oh, we did.
The ball in his hand.
Didn't we see?
I mean, the Rockets one with Westbrook.
He played off. What do you mean we've never seen James Harden play off the ball? We've seen
James Harden agree with like LeBron needs it.
When? Okay, when is Harden not have the ball in his hands?
Was he not? Did he not have the ball in his hands in in Houston? He wasn't taking the ball up.
He always had the
37
ball in
games.
his
Of
hands.
course he did.
He had the ball in his hands
No,
the most.
I mean he had no, but
That's
but
when
he's
he had like
play
the
off
highest
ball.
usage rate like
Has he
ever.
has he not had to play off the ball before?
This degree.
No, really, no. I mean, he's been a point guard in like with the Nets, he was the point. With the Clippers, he was the point.
Yeah.
With the Sixers, he was the point. Houston, he was like this point combo guard where he would just touch
Wait,
every shot.
he played with Kyrie Irving. He played with Chris Paul. He's had to play off the ball.
Yeah,
He
they
played,
lost.
like, he
Really
played like
good.
12 games with Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I mean, obviously they thought he could.
Chris Paul
play
was the one who sacrificed in those teams. That was Chris Paul who was sacrificing the ball, not Harden.
Well, I mean, I would hope James Harden was an MVP on those teams.
Exactly, yeah, but so was Chris Paul. He was that caliber guy. But anyway, okay. I mean, I agree with Shayan. I think it's a weird fit. I just think it's the super team era is kind of going in the NBA. I don't think it's kind of dying out. These teams that are homegrown and have young chemistry and assets and all that stuff, they're the teams that are going to be in charge. I don't think that team beats an OKC or a Denver or a Minnesota. I think
that team would definitely compete with those teams. I can't
yeah,
see
they can compete, but I don't think they're going to win. And I think if you're making,
I would take them over a couple of those teams.
Now, LeBron and Kawhi, I think LeBron and Kawhi.
That would be more intriguing.
I think,
but
yeah,
why?
That would be very intriguing.
Here's the thing, though. Why would LeBron? Why would LeBron?
The LeBron and Kawhi,
it's
like bigger risk but bigger reward.
But he only has so many years remaining. Why would?
Okay, here's the thing. But I don't think LeBron can be the best player on a championship team anymore. I think he has to be the 1B or a 2. I think, and Kawhi can be the 1A. I think Paul George isn't the guy best player on the championship team. I don't think Harden is. I don't think any of those guys are. He needs to be. I think LeBron has to be number 2. That's why I think he has to go to a team that's not the best player.
So why are you guys saying that LeBron needs the ball in his hands, and then you're saying he can't be the best?
He's still LeBron. Like he's still at the end of the day, he's still LeBron.
What is he then? If he's not,
I never said he can't be a
1B or a 2. A 1B still. Like
if he's the 2, then how does he get the ball in his hands always? That doesn't make any sense. You're saying that
Harden's worse than him. Harden. Okay, listen. Adam. The thing is, I don't think the ball should be going to guys who are better than him, not worse than him. Harden is worse than him, right? If you look at those guys,
you act like Harden is hogging the ball in the Clippers. That's not what's happening. Harden is not just demanding.
He's still the guy initiating the offense. He's still running things the same way LeBron would if he was there. Let's be real here.
I mean, don't you want to take some more load off of LeBron as he gets older? Isn't that what you've been saying?
Yeah, but I don't think Harden's the guy.
But it doesn't pay.
I think when younger players should have the energy to do it.
Either.
That's my opinion. I think you should have the younger players who are ascending.
So
with that Clippers team, everyone's getting worse. That's the thing too. Everyone's older and like they're gonna regress. They're gonna get tired easier. They're gonna get hurt easier. That's the thing. I think when LeBron goes, he goes to a younger team, or he goes to like the Warriors. Who says, "Fuck it, I'll play with the Warriors."
Give me a couple teams.
Orlando's a weird one, but I think.
Let's.
He said he's retiring.
No. I mean that's a hot take, but that's not even plausible, dude. You think LeBron's going to?
I mean, they have the money for it. I mean, I feel like
even happen.
There's
no way you think LeBron
no
is
shooting whatsoever, bro.
Orlando.
I'm just saying that's an example of a young team that could use him. Even OKC on a minimum.
He would not go to. Okay,
why wouldn't he?
You got to take into account
for a third time.
You got to take into account here. You're just thinking about the basketball side of this. This is not just about the basketball.
LeBron wants to win. I think he wants a ring. I think he has.
No, he's not. You think LeBron is spending a year in OKC? It's not happening.
Yes, winning a ring with an amazing group of team where he could be like the big daddy, and he could like.
It's not. LeBron is not.
Foolery.
I can tell you right now.
LeBron. He might go to like.
Spending a year
in Philly or like New York.
Yeah, Philly. Yeah, that's a shout too. But I think
they have money too.
I do have I have my own hot take, which I wanted to give, which kind of relates to that. So I didn't want to take Philly. But I do. Yeah, I think LeBron. If LeBron goes, he goes to a younger team. I think where he can be like the connector on that team. He can put guys together. Minnesota, even like I can see that. Maybe even like trying to think. I think Knicks would be a weird fit, but I think I can see him wanting to go there. I mean, who even else is there? Give him to Atlanta.
I think it's hard. I think it's hard to see him go to a younger team because a lot of these teams are from smaller markets just because that's how they've had to build. And I can't see. Well, I don't know how you can see LeBron going to an Orlando.
I mean, he played in Cleveland.
I mean,
Orlando is
like that's his home. That's his home. I could see it.
You know, I mean, Savannah. Like, just think about Savannah, bro. Savannah's gonna love it. There's no tax,
and
so
think about what LeBron said.
Guys, think about Savannah
last night.
Okay, LeBron can transfer to like UCF or something, or like
LeBron was asked a question. last night. They said, have you thought about your love of basketball? How much passion you still have. LeBron's response was, I just want to get home to my family. La family man answer here. He says,
Family man.
that's playing volleyball. I got a son that's, deciding if he's going to transfer or go to the NBA draft. I got another son that's playing AAU. At this point in his career, LeBron's about family, and I can't see him going across the country just to play for Orlando.
Family is family is cool and shit, but like he's a limited amount of time at the NBA level where he's an all-star and he's a super player. He's got to make the most of that.
I don't
see opinion. I think he cares about his legacy more than he cares about.
But I think it has to be. I think it has to be the right market. I think it has to be the right team around him, and I can't see him sacrificing that year with his family to go to something unknown. That's why I think he's coming back to the Lakers, because at least with the Lakers, everything's known. You know everything about what's
You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose to the Nuggets.
But he's gonna be here with his family, and he's gonna know exactly what's gonna happen in terms of the roster, what the future is.
Yeah, they're gonna lose. They're gonna be ass, and they're gonna let him down in the playoffs.
I mean, you have a different view than LeBron. Obviously, LeBron.
All right, let's move on to the next hot take, Pritch.
We're gonna lose. Yeah. All right, Pritch. Well, that was. Do you have one, Shayan? Give us a hot take.
I have a hot take too.
Okay, I'll go first because mine kind of ties into some other things we haven't talked about in the overall playoffs. But I think Embiid and Booker get traded for each other in the offseason.
Oh shit.
That's my hot take. It's hot as fuck. I think Embiid he's out of Phoenix. I think Suns need to blow it up, just do some crazy shit. I think Suns. I don't know. It's weird because I feel like they're both. It's a very weird trade because I don't know who's giving up more or who's winning per se. I feel like it's a fit thing. I like the Maxey and Booker fit, just this insane backcourt, and then they have so much cap room too. You could go after some really good role players and surrounds.
I will tell you.
Okay. Anyway, go for it.
I feel like the Sixers.
Living in Phoenix, the Suns aren't trading Devin Booker. They are more like. They are more
the
like
value compared to KD.
Obviously, I think he has more value than KD just because he's younger. But I don't. If you walk around Phoenix, you don't see any. I mean, you see some Kevin Durant jerseys. They're all Devin Booker. The organization, everyone rallies around Devin Booker.
What about the things of staff though? It's a different thing when you're in the place. Maybe Booker asks out. Maybe he's like, "Fuck this, we're not going to win anything."
I mean, even
right.
There was an iconic picture of some of the legends around here. Corbin Carroll of the Diamondbacks, Kyler Murray, and I want to say it was. I'm pretty sure it was Devin Booker. But anyways, the community. Everyone, it's kind of I don't want to compare Devin Booker to Kobe, but in terms of
be legendary.
No, but in terms of, you know what I mean, watching the highs and lows of a player, they watched him when he joined their team at their worst, and he was part of that evolution to how great the Suns are. I think certainly the Suns would be willing to make that type of move. I just don't think it would be with Booker. I think it has a greater chance of being.
Kind of rebuttal. What if HB doesn't give a fuck? I mean, what if he just doesn't care and he just wants to win? But I feel like he just wants superstars.
I don't think it's really about the Suns that'll worry about trading. I think it's more about the Sixers, because I think they'll kind of fall back on the excuse that Embiid just came off this almost season
every year he's hurt
and then came back. No, I know, but every year it's little ones.
He struggles in the fourth
quarter. This one was a major injury, bro. It was
he gets hurt every year. He can't perform in the playoffs.
No, but I think this year they'll use that as an excuse. So I don't think they'll move on from Embiid.
They use
for at least
every
another
year. Every year they have some kind of excuse where they don't blame anybody. But, they play Ben Simmons years, the process years where it was we're going to lose on purpose. The culture, and I think Philadelphia, is very weak, and I think there's never any accountability. So I think it's why Jimmy Butler didn't stay around. I think.
I don't think they'll blow it up. I don't think they'll trade Embiid.
I think
not this year. At least not this year.
This is the perfect year because they have so much cap space. They have so much cap space, but they can really build a roster around.
I think they're going to use the injury as an excuse. I don't think they'll.
Shayan,
they use it every year.
We need Shayan, we need your hot take before you leave, because you're going to be leaving.
All right. Mine's not really just off this season. Luka wins a championship this year. He's right on pace to end up as the GOAT.
Like if he wins this year.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's fair.
I think that he's
Not-
certainly
not
put
that
up
he's-
I don't know.
statistical
And
numbers
defense.
to
and
do
I
it.
think for me it's
defense, go.
defense.
But-
He'd have to jump on defense. That's my point.
But I think
If he
Luka is
clamps up the
actually
Clippers.
Not to be the GOAT, not to be like the
defense
GOAT and the
this year.
greatest ever. You have to be a good defensive player. But that's
Whoa,
like,
whoa,
let's be
whoa.
real.
Well, Luka has not been a bad defensive player this year.
Yeah, but there's not bad, and then there's Michael Jordan, LeBron.
He's been
prime LeBron
statistically
territory.
he's
Let's be real
above
here.
average. Defensive
Average.
defensive rating.
When he
he's above
tries,
average.
but he doesn't. Yeah. LeBron. Okay, if MJ was like tons of all defensive teams. LeBron tons of all defensive teams, or at least some offensive teams. Plus, an insane athlete. Plus, like I mean, I feel like he's definitely top 10. I think he's on discussion for top 10 in my opinion. I do my own hot take. Actually, I have one more hot take. I want to extend.
Wait. Let me
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
though. They won the chip this year. Right now, Luka's what, like 25, probably?
25.
25,
I just searched up 25 years old.
Yeah.
Exactly. LeBron and Jordan didn't win their first chip till they were like 27.
Yeah.
So he could just stack the championships.
Dwayne Wade won
He's
when
definitely
he was
gonna
like
get. He's definitely gonna
23.
get some
Doesn't mean he's the
MVPs.
GOAT.
The only thing I have against
No, but
this
he wasn't on pace as like Luka is. Ever since Luka got in the league, you see first to hit fastest, second to fastest to reach 5,000 points. Second fastest to reach 10,000. Like he's gonna have the statistics. And basically since his second year, he's been all NBA first team. By that he can play till probably like 10, like another 10 more. He's gonna have 10 more all NBA first team.
Well,
He's gonna have
Luka's
all
a guy
these.
that can play till he's old. I agree,
Exactly, but I'm just saying 35 just because he said he doesn't want to play in the NBA forever. So we're just gonna go off like that little thing, but he's gonna have all the stats to back him up, and I just think that everything that we're saying kind of with LeBron for like all this like longevity and just like playing till you're old, Luka's gonna have those numbers. Probably not like playing 40, but he's gonna be on pace for all the.
I just think it's hard for him to reach the championships.
Yeah,
because
that would be the only thing.
Like you said, if he only has 10 more years, I mean, he's got to win this year. And then just to get to 4, he needs 3 more. And I think the Western Conference is littered with not only good teams, but good young teams.
Plus Jokic.
Plus Jokic, yeah. And I think
But if they win this year, that's probably go through Jokic.
No, yeah. I mean, they could win 3 more if they won after this year, but I don't know. I think it'll be hard for him to reach that, and I think he's always going to be compared to LeBron if you're going to go with the longevity approach to the greatest player of all time, and I don't think he'll reach those heights per se. So I think it's a good hot take. I think it's a little bit too hard for him to reach, but I think he'll end up being a great player, one of the greatest of all time.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I've one more I want to give. So this is you need to let me like explain it, okay, real quick. Just let me talk through it, give me my thoughts. So I think that Anthony Edwards is more like Jordan than Kobe ever was, and I think he could end up being better than Kobe. Actually, I think he will be better than Kobe in general. And I want to quickly explain that where the similarities between between Jordan and Anthony Edwards, where I think with Anthony Edwards, there's this aura and personality with him that Kobe never had. Kobe kind of, I think the difference is also, I think that Anthony Edwards gets the best out of his teammates, and I think we're getting to some special shit with him, where it's like, this is an insane athlete on carrying his team and he's getting all the checkpoints out of the way. I think he's more, unlike Kobe, he's the best player early on his team, and everyone knows he's the best player, and he's taking his team to unprecedented kind of success, their organization, and with their core. Yeah, exactly. I mean, hey, it's something, right? Like, he's taking a team that's like historically been really bad. They've had guys like KG, and I just think as a player, I think he's gonna be one of the best players. He's gonna be the best player in the league at some point. I think and I think with Kobe, everything seemed forced from a personality perspective. I don't know if we ever really saw the real Kobe, or at least in the media depiction, because the way he kind of carried himself and the way he acted, it was like he was trying to be Jordan, but he wasn't Jordan. It was like Anthony was his own person, and I think the similarities with Jordan are insane. Where this guy, this fierce competitor, this personality, and this he's scared. I think people are scared of him because of how good he is, and I think he has this fear factor that Jordan never had. And I just think he's just this gifted player. And I think defensively he can definitely reach Jordan heights because he's such a good athlete, and he can really lock in and really play
So
good.
I have a question with the Jordan
Kobe has
comparisons.
aura,
How
bro. First
how
of all,
No, he doesn't. Kobe
so
doesn't have aura.
well, then,
Kobe
Alex,
has aura, bro.
Alex,
doesn't.
where do you
He
rank
has aura.
Kobe?
Bro. What are you saying?
So on my list, I have Kobe 8th. Let me go through my list real quick. I'm pretty sure it's 8th. 8th or
So
9th. It's
I
on my
have
list.
Kobe. I have Kobe a little higher. I have Kobe like 4 or 5.
Okay. You're wrong, but go ahead.
I actually have a hot take to counter that. I think that right now, I'm not talking about projecting because there are people that say Anthony Edwards, in a couple of years will be the best player in the league and, he'll be this and that. I think right now Anthony Edwards is one of the most just because of how much people are.
I agree with that, actually.
Because think about everyone has said Anthony Edwards is like one of the best players in the league.
I've been saying it for a while. I've been saying
Are
it
you-
since the start of the year.
I mean, where do you have him right now? Like in your top?
He's top 10. Top 10. He's better than LeBron. I mean, it's true.
I
He's
don't
top
think
10.
Anthony.
Everyone talks about him. You'd think he's like the
You
best
think
player
he's
in the
like top
NBA, bro.
3? I mean, everyone's like, "Oh man, Anthony Edwards, he's the
He's
guy."
playing like it. I feel like.
I mean, he's made the second round. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. He's got to do something. In the
Yeah,
playoffs.
but if you watch the games, he has this kind of special talent to him where he's just. I mean, he's averaging 26
Yeah, no,
on the year.
I
What's he
get
averaging in the playoffs?
Wow,
31
how
in the
many players
playoffs,
are
like-
averaging
the
30
numbers.
now?
The numbers have not been like Luka. Luka right now is like, if you look at the numbers, he's miles better than Anthony
Edwards
Edwards.
plays defense. I mean, let's be real here, but like.
Yeah, no, he plays defense.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think he's gonna keep improving. That's the thing. I think Luka, we're kind of getting into his prime where it's like I don't know how much better he can conceivably get
So-
unless he becomes like an
so
elite
right
defensive
now-
player. But
right
Edwards
now,
could be like
Anthony
the
Edwards-
best
I don't
scorer.
think
in
it
the
really
league.
matters how much better.
he's-
He averages like 33, like 9 and
Yeah,
10.
exactly. I'm just
Well,
saying.
I will say
There's another
Anthony
level to
Edwards.
Edwards.
Anthony Edwards is interesting because he's only 22 years old, has plenty of time, but he is one of those players that I worry relying so much on the athleticism about him playing as long as a guy like Luka Doncic. I don't
Said
think
the same thing
had-
about LeBron. I mean,
Well,
if you look
that's
at
why-
guys like
that's why
Larry Bird
LeBron-
who weren't relying on their athleticism to get hurt.
But I mean, look at the size difference between LeBron and Anthony. I'm not saying Anthony Edwards
No,
is
Jordan. I'm saying Jordan.
but
Jordan, I'm saying.
what do you mean?
What
As
about
in,
Jordan?
Jordan was relying on his athleticism, like reliant, right? But
Yeah,
he was still an elite
and he
player
came
until he was
back-
like 38. Yeah, when he was like
No.
38, he was.
What do you
in
mean?
98? In 98, when he won
No,
the ring, and he
no.
was finals. Right?
38?
He was 30.
Yeah,
I
that's when
thought
he
he was
won his last
35.
He wasn't 35. Wait, I'm sure he was 38. Let me check. He was old as fuck anyway. I mean, how old was he? Okay, he was sorry, my bad. He was he's 35. But
Exactly.
Yeah,
Stupid.
I
he's
mean,
still-
that's
okay.
I could see him
He was
playing
still- he was still-
elite till he's
Yeah.
35. Not like LeBron where, he's still elite at like 38, 39,
I mean, Jordan was still pretty good at those ages. He was just running
But,
the team.
I
so
mean,
he's
Not the same though. Not the same.
yeah, but he was
If
still
you were
even,
like
but,
second
players
greatest player
develop,
of
bro.
all time, you should be held to that standard. Where was Jordan held to that standard when he was on the Wizards,
Yeah,
bro?
he was.
Greatest
he
of all
was. Bro, he was.
And he didn't do shit, bro.
He was though.
On
He
the
was held to that
Wizards.
standard.
Damn.
He was retired for 3 years, and he came back and he was an all-star both years. And he averaged like 20 a game. Like, let's give him some credit. Like,
All right,
pretty
then let's leave
impressive.
LeBron credit for 26, like 8 and 8.
yeah, it's impressive. I am giving him credit. I don't know what the problem is. You guys defend him.
Dude,
like,
you said,
so
bro, you're always
fucking
like,
hard. I
he's
mean-
regressing. He's not good.
No,
All
he
right,
is.
Not
He is
all-star.
regressing.
Back
It's
to
fact.
Edwards. Back to Edwards. Back to Edwards.
Bro, it's
Alright.
stupid
Alright.
argument.
No, but yeah,
Back to Edwards.
and
I
I think
that-
Anthony Edwards
yeah,
is one of
Shayan,
the most
go ahead.
overrated players, bro. Everyone talks about him like he's gonna be like the GOAT of basketball. Everyone says, "Oh, he's talks
one
about him
does,
like he's the
though.
best
No one
player in the
does.
NBA."
Everyone
everyone
says
says
he's the next
He's
Michael
basically
Jordan.
the
Who says he's the
declared
best player in the
face of the NBA.
Who says he's gonna be the GOAT?
Everyone's predetermining
In my
that he's the
opinion-
face of the NBA.
In my opinion,
And like he's not even a
He's the
top 5
American
player
face.
yet.
He's gonna be the American face of the league.
Okay, Alex. In my
Yes.
opinion,
Right,
if
whatever.
you get compared to Michael Jordan, who a lot of people have as their
Yeah.
best player of all time, I have him as the second best player of all time.
You're wrong, but yeah, go ahead.
If you get
Right.
compared to the greatest player of all time or the second greatest player of all time, you have to at least finish as a top 5 or 6 player. At least.
Exactly, bro.
I don't know if he's going to reach that. I think that's a little high based on not even reaching a conference finals. He's going to have a chance to this year. But if he doesn't get by Denver this year, he'll be 23. You see a guy like Jason Tatum, who I'm not the biggest Tatum fan, but I mean,
Nobody
damn.
says that about him. Nobody's
Jason
saying
Tatum's
he's
got
like,
to.
projecting. I'm saying and like starting next year, he's gonna be one of the best players in the NBA.
No, even now, like, bro,
Even now,
people
no,
people have
he's one
been
of the
saying
best
that for
players
the
in the
last
NBA.
couple years. They're like,
Who says
this
he's
is
the best
the
player
year
in the league?
Anthony
Nobody
Edwards
does.
takes his leap
He
into like
did. He did
being the
take
best
off.
player, bro.
He did. He's carrying
Yeah,
his
he
team
took
to
a
like
leap,
they were the
but
one
not
seed
to
the
the
whole year.
extent that people are saying, though.
They were the one seed. They're the fucking Timberwolves. They were the one seed for most of the season. Okay, let's be real here. Let's just shut the fuck up and let's understand he's doing great things already.
But they have a good
With a
team
very-
around him too.
No, they do.
They have
but it's
they have a
team-
second
No,
All
I'll
Star.
admit.
They have a defensive player
Yeah,
of the year.
but
They have the sixth man of the year.
before
They have good role players.
Yeah, because he makes them better. This isn't a, like
before
he makes
he does
them
before
better.
Edwards took this leap, they weren't the same. I mean, what were they, like an 8
Yes,
seed?
they were the
Like,
10 seed last year or something.
yeah. Well, 10
Right?
seed.
No, wait, no,
The
8
past
seed. The
couple
8 seed.
years,
They lost to
8 seed,
Denver.
yeah,
They're the
yeah.
8 seed. Yeah, they were a playing team. They lost to Lakers in the first playing game. Like, let's be
But
real
also
here.
do the thing, bro.
He's reached
Cat and
another
Rudy
level.
need to also figure out how to play together too.
Yes, and he helped them because he figured out a way to make them better. Okay.
No, bro,
Give the man
I
some
will give
credit.
him some credit. His passing's gotten better. Like last year, he had like 5 passes total to Rudy, and now he has like way more. Good for him. But bro, I think he's being overrated right now. People talk about him like
my
he's the best player in the NBA.
My
but
problem
He
is
isn't.
he is
No one's
not.
saying that though.
Everyone says that. They
No,
compare him to
who says
Jordan.
that?
What more
Who
can
said
you
he's the best?
say?
There are so many eerie similarities with Jordan right now. No, he's not at that level,
But
but he seems like he can get there. This is what my take is based
my
on.
problem is there's a comparison to Jordan not purely based on play style. There's comparisons to Jordan in terms of projection of how his peak of how good he can be as a player.
Because that's how good he can be.
I don't think he can be. I don't see
You think
what
he could be
everyone
the
else
GOAT?
is seeing.
That is what you're saying.
He can.
No,
He's better than Kobe. His upside is better
He's
than
not,
Kobe.
bro. You
Okay,
can't say
so
he's better than Kobe. Right
his
now.
upside,
Yes,
his
Kobe
upside,
was not
might
good
be
in retrospect. Like, let's be real here.
his upside might be better than Kobe, but to get there, he still has to win 5 championships. He has to be.
Does he have to win 5? Because Kobe won.
Okay,
2
fine. I'll give you 4. I'll give you 4, but he has to get to at least 4. He has to.
All right,
he has
okay,
to
give him 3 then. Whatever.
He's
got to.
He's got to get to.
He wins 3. Okay, I think Kobe was never the best player in the NBA.
That's
like in a single season.
That's
there
wild.
never was a season.
In a single season.
I don't think he ever was. So I think
Who was the best player,
that's the thing with Kobe. I don't think he was ever the best player in one season.
Who was the best player in that gap between from 2000 to LeBron basically? Who was the best player?
So 2000 to 2003?
No, after 2003, we'll say.
And I think Tim Duncan was the best player in the NBA. I think LeBron took the mantle very early. I think Wade was the best player. I think that Dirk was the best player.
Wade.
Wade had, I mean, 2006 Wade was
Kobe?
fucking insane.
I would say that year that they beat Boston, 2010, to go back to back.
I don't think he was that. I mean, in the finals he was 6 for 24.
I mean, yeah, but that series was a dogfight. Did you?
Yes,
did you
he sucked. He sucked.
That series was a
good.
dogfight.
That was old Kobe. If you're gonna argue, Kobe, that was be like 2006.
By the way, Alex, that was pure basketball. That was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was good. I like the series, but he was still 6 for 24 in a game 7. Like, let's not forget that he was not the best player in the NBA. There's no argument for him to be the best player in the NBA outside of you're a Lakers fan, and that's fair enough. I get it. But I don't think there's ever a season where he was the best player in the NBA. There's not a season, in my opinion, where he stands head and shoulders above everybody else. He got an MVP out of did he? He got it was 2008, right? He got it in 07, 08.
I thought it was 08. Yeah.
Yeah, 08. Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't think he was the best player that year. But that's probably the closest he got.
The best player.
I don't think.
I think Garnett was the best player.
You know how
you know
how I feel about MVPs. I think MVPs are stupid. The way that they all do this. LeBron should. Well, if they did the best player, LeBron would have way more MVPs. Jordan would have more MVPs. But
I mean, it's most valuable. So obviously those. I mean, the thing is, I don't think you give the MVP to LeBron in those Heat years because he wasn't the most valuable because he had Wade and Bosh with him.
Okay, so, LeBron on the young Cavs.
I think by your definition, I just feel like if you're going to do properly MVP, I think MVP is the best player, and I think Jokic is the best player. I think Embiid. He shouldn't have won last year, but I think he was.
Those years, Bron was the best player.
But Kobe was the best player in the NBA. I don't think in those years.
I think Kobe was.
All right,
he was definitively the best player.
Alex, before Shayan and I have to go soon, outline what Anthony Edwards has to do to reach your expectations of being better than Kobe.
Also, my expectations, my hopes. Like, I don't think he's gonna actually do this per se. I think that's my hot take.
No,
but I think he can do this.
But what would he have to do to reach that level? 3
rings, 3 finals MVPs. I think he'd have to win at least 1 MVP. I think, which he can if they can do. I think he has to obviously get to the conference finals, a bunch of stuff like that. I mean, the thing with Kobe, he had a bunch of these weird years in the middle where his teams were ass. So like, I think that he'd have to kind of, if his continued playoff success, and I think if he's able to do it for like the next 10 to 12 years, and then win a couple championships and stuff like that, like that's good enough for me personally, especially with MVPs, Team USA, things like that. Like, it's
I don't
very
think
hard
anyone
to
contributes like Team USA to fucking
I think for
all-time
Kobe it does.
status.
I think for Kobe the redeem team, so I think it does matter.
My thing
it
is,
plays a part. I think in the overall story of the player. You know what I mean?
I think in his story as a player, but I don't think in his all-time ranking.
Aura, yeah, exactly. Aura.
Bro, you can't say
adds
Kobe
to
has
the
no
aura.
aura, bro. I can't believe you said that. That was blasphemous,
Yeah,
bro. You said Kobe has no aura. When people shoot a paper ball into a trash can, you literally say Kobe.
Kobe was an asshole, okay? I feel like we forget this.
Jordan was an asshole. He punched
Jordan
his
was
own
an asshole
teammate in the
too.
face,
Come on,
bro.
dude.
No, yeah, but the difference
You
is I
can't
think
say
Jordan's
that.
teams won. I think Jordan's teams it made them better, and I think Jordan was like Kobe was trying to be Jordan. He wasn't. Jordan was just Jordan. I think Kobe was just trying to be Jordan, trying to be a tough ass motherfucker and shit like that. Like it was. It felt like forced. When you look at the stories, you think about this is a man who loved his family. He was a great person. Why would he act like this towards his teammates? And like it just doesn't make any sense. I feel like it's performative. No, he does. I mean, shout out to Vanessa, but he cheated on Vanessa. Remember that? But like,
don't
I'm just
Kobe's
saying
name on this pod, bro.
Yeah,
That's not what you're gonna be known for, bro.
I just think he was a very good person, as you could tell. I mean, I met him one time, but he's a nice guy. But like, I think everything seemed a little bit fake to me. The teammates, it didn't seem like he was trying to. He seemed like he was trying to be someone else. And I don't feel. I mean, Kobe's just a nerdy ass motherfucker. I think, in retrospect, he was a little tismed up. I think that's my opinion. He had a little.
I think Kobe's mindset was too complex for any of us to understand. I think he had some different. No, well, I mean,
like for real, right?
But everything with him though was like strategically planned. In kind of like
fixation.
Kind of like LeBron in the sense of everything seems like planned, and organized and thought out before it happened.
Exactly. He was thinking on his legacy. He was planning all that. I mean, I think LeBron thinks out more though, because I think LeBron really does have this all
LeBron has done it more than anyone in NBA history.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a stupid argument that like
Kobe has aura. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. Kobe has aura.
I said Kobe 8th overall, guys. Like, let's be real here. I think he was still a great player.
So Anthony Edwards has to get to 8th overall.
I think it's doable. He has the talent. He has the talent, and he has the he's making his leaps. He's at a better stage than Kobe was at his stage of his career. Let's say that. I think that's fair.
And the other thing is, I don't think Anthony Edwards can do that in Minnesota. No disrespect to Minnesota. So it's kind of tough to project. He goes to a different team. What type of treatment does he get? Is it like LeBron? Where
I don't think he will. Though. I think he'll stay in Minnesota.
I can't see him winning 3 rings in Minnesota.
Why not? Though? Because
crazy.
I think they trade Cat, and I think once they trade they don't have the player back.
I mean, they don't have necessarily. They have some good young talent, but they don't have the extent of some of the other.
That's not good. He's gonna be the standalone best player, and I think they could definitely trade for a superstar.
And the team will get worse.
I mean, I think if you trade Cat for somebody who's like a quality player, I think Cat has value to a lot of teams. It obviously depends who it is, but I think we're projecting a lot with this. I just think he definitely has the ability to do it. Whether he does it, we don't know yet. But he definitely has the ability, in my opinion.
All right. Well, that's the definition of a hot take, right? Possibility. I have a harder time seeing that possibility, but even if there's in my opinion, 1% chance, it's still a chance, right? It's within the realm of possibilities. So, Shayan, I know you gotta head out. So it's just gonna be me and the boy Pritch. Last words.
Good talking about these hot takes with y'all.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Yeah, the hearts.
All right. Me and Alex here to finish up this episode. Real quick, I just want to touch on some of the playoff series still going on, and then we'll talk about that Nuggets and Timberwolves series. Big one, crazy game that happened yesterday, or 2 days ago. Clippers, Mavs, insane game. You had the Mavs come back down. What was it, like 20 something points? 30
it was 31. It was 30 points.
30 points. Unbelievable comeback. Kyrie Irving turning back the clock, looking like 2016 Kyrie Irving in the clutch. He had that one layup where he goes over 3 guys, insane.
Yeah, that was
Then
insane. Yeah.
Paul George runs the shot clock down, step back in the corner, just absolutely absurd. But the story, in my opinion, was James Harden in the clutch, showing up for the Clips without Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi's health sounds like they're kind of shutting him down for now, so this might have to be the James Harden and PG show the rest of the way. But Alex, what do you make of how this series is trending, and who do you think will come out on top?
So first of all, I want to shout out to Kyrie Irving for being sane this season. He hasn't said any crazy shit towards you or anyone else.
True.
I think it's something like when Kyrie Irving just plays basketball, he's a great player. I think that's undeniable, right? This is a guy who's an elite scorer, a great, really fun player to watch, and to see him play like a normal basketball player and just be himself on the court and not be insane off the court. It's a good thing, and I think the Mavericks needed that, and I think like he's going to be a man asset for them. And in that game, we talked about Game 4, like Luka was arguably the 4th best player in that game. If you look at PG and Harden and Kyrie, and that's something where they need him to step up a bit more, especially at the end of the games. Personally, but yeah, somebody just walked in. But yeah, they just opened the door and then shut it again. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, personally, in the series, I think I have the Mavs just because they have the star talent. I don't necessarily trust Harden in a Game 7 or a Game 6 or PG to a lesser extent too, especially without Kawhi. I mean, with Kawhi, you never know, but Kawhi's been he was really struggling at the start of and when he was even playing in the series. So
I mean, you saw
the
well, some people saw a clip, some people were watching the game where he's holding on to the rim and he
doesn't come down. Yeah,
because he didn't want to come down hard. So it's sad to see. But I agree. I think the Mavs just have a little bit too much for the Clippers here in this series. That would have been insane if they completed that comeback. At one point, I think they went up in that game.
They were up by 1, yeah.
By 1, yeah. But I think a little bit too much for the Clippers here. Felt like the Clippers, even when they're up, kind of like the Lakers, honestly. That the Mavs were going to mount.
Is insane. I mean, they have an amazing fan base.
Credit to them. Credit to them. I do think the Mavs pull away from this series. I hope. Well, I mean, I picked the Mavs to go kind of far here, but I think that they, get this done in 7. I think the Clippers will fight back enough to push it to 7, but I think the Mavs ultimately come away with it. Now let's shift to the other side, a matchup coming up next round, because, West is pretty much finished up by now. OKC completes the sweep. They'll play the Mavs or the Clippers, but we have a matchup set now between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. I think this is a really interesting one. I'll admit, first one to admit, I undervalued the Timberwolves. I thought that the Suns were a lot better than they ended up showing. I didn't think they'd get by Phoenix. I thought Phoenix would beat them in 7, but here we are, Timberwolves, Nuggets. I think this is not a great matchup for the Nuggets. I believe last year the Timberwolves even gave them a little bit of trouble there in that 1-8 matchup.
Yeah, they won in 5, the Nuggets, but definitely that was one of the hardest series, I think, for the Nuggets, because it's such a weird team from the playoffs.
I mean, they have the bodies, right, to throw at Jokic with, guys like Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, Naz Reid. They have the size to compete. They're definitely not going to rebound and score on the Timberwolves like they did with the Lakers. So it's going to be an interesting series. I still think the Nuggets will come away in 5 or 6 games, but it's going to be kind of like the Lakers, where the Nuggets are going to be pushed a little bit here. They're going to have to play better this series. I think that they will. The Lakers series, there was a lot of emotions tied to that. A lot of, bring back from last year. I think that the Nuggets needed this round to kind of warm up, and I think they'll be a lot better this round against the Timberwolves. Alex, who do you got in this series?
Yeah, so I somewhat kind of agree. I think it's going to be Nuggets in 6, but yeah, this is a really intriguing series. I think from the Timberwolves' perspective, I think you probably put Gobert on Gordon, and I think you put Cat on Jokic, just because I guess Cat's kind of like the girth and the kind of he can take the hits from Jokic. Yeah, indeed. And also I think it's probably a weird series where I think Gordon has hurt the corner a lot more, which kind of takes him away from the dunker spot, where he's so effective. And having Gordon stretch the floor might kind of mess up the Nuggets. I'm sure they have plans for this, right? maybe use him as a screener or something. But yeah, it's a good series for Gobert. I think Gobert's gonna have a good series. Even if he doesn't necessarily get a lot of he might look not great, but I think it's going to be a great matchup for him and be able for him to do what he does very well. I think this is a massive series for Cat, just because I think this is a series that determines if Cat is on the roster next year, or if they keep him or if they move on from him. Just because if they're going to improve, if they're going to make that next step to being like a finals contender, like a legitimate finals team, then Cat's the guy that needs to get moved on, because they kind of already have guys like him. They already have like Nasrid off the bench. They have Luka Garza. Maybe he could be good. And you never know. But they already have tons of bigs.
College
yeah,
basketball.
they already have a lot of bigs, and they have a very unique kind of roster where they could always trade. You move you like Jeremy Daniels to the 4, and get like another wing or something that fits next to Ant, or get another point guard maybe to take over from Conley. When Conley's getting a bit older, but Conley's been great. But yeah, so I think this is a really big series for him where he needs to kind of show up. And then Anthony Edwards, of course, he's got to keep doing what he's doing. They need him to kind of keep, he beat his idol KD in the first round. Now he's got to go against Jokic, one of the best guys in the league. He's the best guy in the league. So yeah, I think this is going to be kind of a big thing for him as well. So it's a big series. And then from the Nuggets perspective, I just think they got to just keep closing out games. That's the main thing for them. They can. The Timberwolves have a weird kind of offensive crunch situations. Although to be fair, in the Phoenix series, it was pretty good. But I think the Nuggets they're just so clinical in these situations. I think I think Nuggets is 6.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, for all of you guys, criticizing my tiers of putting the Lakers in tier 2, if no one, competes with the Nuggets the way that the Lakers,
I think most teams compete with the Nuggets. I mean, I feel like the Nuggets.
Well,
I think every team
to the extent of beating.
You Phoenix
percent of the minutes in the series.
3rd tier, right?
Phoenix and the Timberwolves were my biggest misses. I'll admit. I don't think the Lakers were as much of a miss as
OKC. I mean, you missed on OKC as well.
Well, no, okay. What do you mean? I didn't say that OKC was going to lose in the first round. They haven't played.
You said they're fun regular season. They're going to lose. Okay, yeah. Anyway.
Well, I mean, that hasn't happened yet.
The Lakers are such a stupid prediction, bro. Like, I'm never going to let that thing go.
Okay, so
you said, if they beat the Lakers, they're never going to beat the Nuggets. They were never going to beat the Nuggets. There's no logical circumstance for them where they were going to beat the Nuggets.
Well, I mean, even
if they
lost
10 in a row before.
Even if they didn't beat the Nuggets, how do you know that there would have been a team that would have beat the Lakers? I'm just saying, I have them
because we know basketball. We could watch the what?
Well, I mean, someone has to compete with the. I was ranking teams that could compete with the Nuggets, and in my opinion, the Lakers. We have to see how the other teams compete with the Nuggets. If everyone else gets swept by the Nuggets, then
they're not, because the team they're better.
Well, we'll see. I don't think the Timberwolves will. I think the Timberwolves are a good matchup. I think they'll push the Nuggets. But I mean, if they go to 5 games too, you can't say that. Oh my gosh, the Timberwolves would have for sure beat the Lakers. I mean, that's not.
The difference is, I mean, you kind of could, because I think they're a great matchup for the Lakers. But it doesn't matter because the Lakers are out. But But honestly, it was just a stupid tier. But whatever. You're a Lakers fan. I'll let it slide.
All right. So now to the East. Now, East is pretty clear. It's Boston's to lose. New York has shown signs that they can compete. I still think they're the biggest threat, especially after Milwaukee just completely didn't show up. Literally didn't show up because Giannis didn't play a single game. Dame gets
injured. It's a shame. Yeah, down
it is a
3-1
shame
now.
Because even if you weren't the biggest fan of them, or you didn't believe in them, or you had question marks, surrounding that whole fit, it would have been nice to actually see it in play. And it wasn't really a series. I mean, Indiana, let's be honest, they got lucky. They played a team that was without their best player for the whole series, and then missed at times their second best player. So unfortunate situation there, but that means Indiana probably they're up 3-1. They haven't won the series yet, but probably going to move on. Probably going to play New York, who a lot of people very high on what the Knicks have done this first round. Me personally, I kind of feel like it's a Nuggets thing where I don't think they've played completely their best. I think their best.
They pull these games out.
They're pulling them out. I mean, I don't know how they won. I believe it was
game 2.
Game 2, yeah.
Game 2. Yeah, that was the one with DiVincenzo.
Yeah, DiVincenzo was the one. I mean, the Sixers, they were trying to call the timeout. Nick Nurse was trying to call it. Refs didn't see him. They throw it into Maxey, loses the ball. Crazy stuff happens. But I think the Knicks probably get by Indiana, so that brings us to the other side. like I said, still think it's Boston's to lose. Don't see any signs of them not winning it. I guess you could point to that one loss, but I mean, it's just an aberration. You know, I thought they would sweep their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Looked like, you know, they might lose a game or two here and there. And then the other series, Cleveland, Orlando. I still think Cleveland's going to come out, but Orlando, not going to lie, impressed me a little bit here. Rip off 2 wins.
Yeah, they look good at home. I mean, Cleveland's just a weird team. I just don't understand the. Okay, your screen's black, by the way, but you there? Oh, okay.
We're back.
Okay.
We're back.
Okay. All right. Your camera's still off. But there we go. Okay. Yeah, the Magic, it's a very weird team because they are such a defensive team, and like they're very inconsistent from theory, but when they do with their threes, they're a very good team. And like I trust them. I think they're going to beat them at Cleveland here, just because
it's so hard for me to trust them. I mean, I get what you're saying on the defensive end, but
when you watch these games, Cleveland just gets killed. I mean, they're just so submissive. Like they just have this way about them. Like they kind of just roll over and let this shit happen. You know what I mean? They just don't have the toughness that the Magic have. And I think the Magic have a young superstar. They have a young chemistry team. The way that the Cavs have the opposite of chemistry. These guys don't seem to like each other or to play well together. They're more talented, but I think Magic takes the series in 7. And then we have a Celtics Magic series where the Celtics kill them. Let's be real.
Yeah, they don't.
You know,
they don't have a chance.
The Magic can maybe steal a game because of defense, but like they're getting killed. I mean, there's no way. You know. And then with the Pacers, like Halliburton has really struggled, I think, since his injuries earlier in the season, and I think if he can get back to what he was before, I mean, he kind of did with that game 3 game winner, but like they needed more out of him for them to beat the Knicks. Otherwise, it's a big win for the Knicks, I think. So a Knicks Celtics conference final. That's a fun series.
mean, okay, this brings a question now. Not even just in the East. We've watched this playoffs. The top teams in the West have already played. Top teams in the East, we've seen them. Now that Milwaukee's out, I feel like it's really only New York who has a chance against Boston in the East, and I don't think they have much of a chance. Is there anyone in the you think can beat Boston in a 7-game series that has at least a 30% chance?
See, the Magic is a weird one because I don't think they have that chance, but the Magic, they're so good defensively, but they could maybe they just ambush Boston and Boston just falls apart. Missoula isn't obviously the best coach. These guys like Tatum is going to struggle in these big moments. Maybe there's an injury or something that comes in there. But that's like
Porzingis,
yeah.
Something
it would have to be a complete they'd have to just fall apart for that to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Otherwise it's just the Knicks. I think the Knicks have 40% chance maybe, or like a 30.
In the West, because I don't think they're losing in the East.
Oh, in the West. I thought
anyone in the West. We've seen OKC.
Okay, yeah, OKC.
They look good the first round, but I don't think they would beat. I wouldn't give them more than a 30% chance to beat Boston.
I mean, for me, it's more than the 33. Let's just say 33, like a 1/3, right?
1/3.
I think
okay.
OKC. I think OKC, Denver, Minnesota. I think have a good chance. And that's it. I think. I don't know about I don't think Dallas or Clippers, just because I think they're so consistent, and I think they're not going to get to that stage. That's my main thing. But I think OKC. Because I think Celtics, you don't really. They're like the worst 64-win team we've seen from we can't really trust them, and we don't really. I don't know if they're that team. You know what I mean?
I can't trust. As young as the Thunder are, I can't trust them in a series against a more veteran, led Celtics team.
Tom Fuller, though.
I mean, a lot of aura.
Depth. I think for me, it's the depth.
A lot of
aura. I think for me, it's the depth of OKC, where this is a team that's so deep. Like they're going 10 deep right now.
Mm-hmm.
In the playoffs. They're such a good team, and they have so many guys. We have one guy struggling. They have other guys who come up, pick up the slack. You have, Gordon Hayward is a good vet. They have tons of young guys. Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe off the bench. Then a great starting lineup too. And then Giddey's been hitting his shots, right? I didn't watch the last game, so I'm not sure, but I heard he shot really well. Let me just check it out real quick. Yeah, he shot 4 for 6 from 3, and then the game before was 4 for 7. So obviously that's really good. If he can keep that up in any kind of way, then they're in a great position. So yeah, I mean, I think I just think they're a great team, and I just don't see. I feel like they have a great chance of beating Celtics, beating Boston in a series, just because of
I would
Boston's for LCs.
personally, I don't think they're one of the team. I don't think there's much. I don't think there's really any. I mean, Denver obviously can if Denver plays up to their capabilities. But I mean, if Denver plays anything close to the way they played this series, they're not beating the Celtics in a 7-game series. They're just not. Looking up at the top of the bracket, I don't think OKC can get it done. Dallas would have to play insane. Dallas would have to play. I mean, they have if Kyrie and Luka both played, out of their minds, I guess they could.
Yeah,
But they're really Kawhi with the Clippers probably not going to come back. They can't do it. Minnesota, as good as you might think Anthony Edwards is, I think it's hard to envision them getting it done with just him. They'd have to have a lot of guys step up for them, and I don't see Cat stepping up to the point where they can beat a team like Boston. So now,
I think there's a chance, though.
Right now,
you never know.
I think your only chance is a really bad series from Boston and a great performance from a team like the Knicks, team like the Nuggets, and I guess OKC or Dallas. I just don't know if these guys have the horses to compete with Boston right now. I still have them comfortably pegged in as the favorite team to win this whole thing.
What? But yeah, that's fair. Definitely, I think Celtics are the favorite just because they're such an easy run in. The Nuggets into the finals are going to be kind of worn down because he played so many tough games. But then at the same time, they're going to get experience the Celtics haven't had. Like, they haven't really played a competitive game for the playoffs for like 6 weeks because he had the conference sewn up. I think the Celtics might need that that playoff experience where they have it in the previous years, but this is a complete new iteration of their team. So I guess we'll find out, right? But I think Celtics still the favorite, but it could really go either way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah,
we'll see. Well, that's the great thing. You still have to watch these games and see. Hope you enjoy, this next week of NBA playoff basketball. Going to be some fun. Going to be that Denver Minnesota series. Going to be fun to watch. Obviously, the end of this Clippers and Mavericks series, something to watch as well. But you got to tune in next week to see what we have to say about these upcoming series.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Cheyenne is not here with us to do the outro like last week.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I'm back home now, so I'm back home now, so we got to do some live stuff here. Cheyenne is going to be with me one of these next couple episodes, but we hope you enjoyed this edition of the Before the
Buzzer podcast.
Well, stumbled there.
Episode all right. 12.
We're going to head out now. Hope you guys have a great day and tune in next week to hear on the scary episode 13. Oh, some crazy stuff.
Oh shit! Shit about to go down, bro.
You gotta tune in next week. Once again, follow us on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok. We'll have some content up there, and tune in next week to see episode 13. Thank you.
Bye bye.